Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's supposed to be a one-shot, India. Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm Irving, Fryar. We're back here at the Fryar place where the conversations are fire. We got people in the house. Come on, y'all, make some noise. All right, yeah, that's what I'm talking about, yeah. Live audience right here at the Code, 939 North Delaware Avenue, Philadelphia. We do this every first Friday of the month. We have a great guest today. Listen, if you're watching on YouTube or you're watching on my Facebook page, if you have a question for our guest tonight, please write a Q, capital Q, semicolon, and then write your question. That way my engineers' eyes will be tilted that way, and we'll get a chance to answer any one of your questions who come on tonight. Listen, the cat we have on tonight with me, you'll see he's like my big little brother. I had an opportunity to play with him here in Philadelphia with the Philadelphia Eagles. He is a non-Philadelphia with the Philadelphia Eagles. He is a 9-year vet in the NFL.
12.
Was it 12?
12 years.
You know what? You can't believe what's on the internet because they got you 12, they got you 9, they got you 11. I saw an interview, they said 11, they said 9, what they put up on the screen. 12 years in the NFL. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to short you 3 years, bro.
Oh, well, Uncle Sam's not going to short me.
Uncle Sam, well, yeah, you're right about that. Second round draft pick, 1995, out of Kansas State, right here, Philadelphia Eagles. Played with the Eagles, played with the Lions, played with the Packers, played with the Steelers. Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl 40 with the Pittsburgh Steelers. We're going to talk about that, too, yeah. We're going to talk about that, too. Straight out of St. Louis, Missouri, y'all. He is a current NFL analyst for NBC, and with the pregame and postgame shows with the Eagles, none other than my brother, big little brother, Barrett Brooks. Come on, y'all, put your hands together.
Thank you. That's all. There we are.
He's my frat brother, too.
Yes.
And I'm sorry for wearing red right now. Those are not our colors, but I thought red looked pretty good, so I got it on tonight. Listen, bro, thanks for being here with me.
I appreciate having me.
One of the things, I want to say this about you. I have invited several former players, NFL players, to my podcast. Some of them answer the phone. Some of them give me excuses. Some of them big time me, which I'm really a little bit ticked about. But you've never been that way. You have never been that way. You've always understood that we're in this thing together, and whatever we can do for one another, to assist one another, you've always been there for me. So when I called on you, you had to check your schedule, but man, you got right back to me, and now here you are. You're on time, doing your thing.
Right.
But I appreciate you. I just want to let you know in front of everybody who's watching right now, everybody who's here, I really do appreciate you, man.
I didn't. It was one of those things where I had to check my schedule. What I had to do is I had to take off because I have a show at 6:30, 6 to 3.
So you took off to be
6:30, yeah, 6:30 Monday through Friday with NBC called Birds Huddle.
Okay.
I had to take off, so I had to get in touch with my bosses first. Tell them, hey, I got to take off. For you, I had to make it happen. So yeah, I took off today. Yes, they're not on the show right now. Yeah, I'm gonna be in trouble for that. I'm just letting you because they're gonna see this. They're gonna
You're going to enjoy not just the show, but you're going to enjoy being here. Particularly when we finish the show.
Absolutely.
We have a good time. There's food, there's drinks. We have a great time, great audience, great crowd, great people. Listen, second round draft choice, but you bounced around a little bit. As a second round draft choice, you would think that a lot has been put into making that decision. There's a lot expected of you that you're going to be around for that team that drafted you in the second round for a while, but you bounced around a little bit. How was that? What did that entail, and why did that happen?
Because, of course, you know this, and my boy Hollis, who's in the crowd, knows this also. My last year in the NFL, my last year with the Eagles, we went 3-13. We got drugged everywhere.
Was that my last year too?
Yeah, right.
I think that was my last year too.
So when Ray Rose left,
yes,
it was a mad exodus. 3-13, then keep it around, and then the year before that, well, that same year in 1998, they drafted a perennial Pro Bowler and Trey Thomas. So Trey Thomas came in. He's the only guy to dethrone me. I fought off Steve Wallace, Jermaine Mayberry. You name it, I fought him off and still started.
Right.
But once that young fella got in there, whoo,
Trey's a beast.
Yeah, he shut things down. So I ended up going to Detroit, and I did play for 5 teams in the NFL. That just meant I collected checks from many owners. That's what that meant to me,
So if they were to put you in the Hall of Fame, who would you go in the Hall of Fame with? Or what team?
Oh, I would have to. It's tough because Eagles. I want a Super Bowl.
Be careful.
I want a Super Bowl with the Steelers back. My last 4 years I was with the Steelers, but I got to stay with the Eagles. The
right.
Birds.
Well, that's where you live.
Exactly. That's how I make my money now
yes,
too.
Sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
As you mentioned, you won a Super Bowl with the Steelers, Super Bowl 40.
Yes.
You guys beat Seattle, right?
Yes, beautiful Seattle. Yes.
There's a story behind that because you had a key block in a key play that scored a touchdown in that game.
No question.
But you kind of, slipped your way in, or you did something a little conniving to get into the game at that time. You kind of kicked somebody to the curb.
No,
what did you do?
Well,
tell the story. Tell the truth.
I'm going to tell the truth. Yeah. Every play you get in the NFL, you get a playing bonus, and it goes by how much money you make in the league. Well, the starting right tackle, they had just, had a turnover, and at the time of the turnover, they had the offense go in. So what I did was, I'm sitting next to him. We're standing there sitting next to him, and they said, "Oh, offense on the field." So I kind of kicked his helmet and ran up under the and went to the sideline. And he's like, "Barrett, give me a helmet." I'm like, "No, I can't find my helmet. Barrett, give me a helmet." "No, I'm not giving you a helmet." I put my helmet on and ran in. I took them reps, so I had to get it. There's no love when it comes to war. You know what I'm saying? So I had to go get it. Yeah.
So is there any recourse because of that?
No. We talk about that all the time
really?
now. Yeah. He was getting paid. He didn't need it, but I needed it.
You needed it?
Oh yeah, I needed it at that time.
So you did participate in the Super Bowl?
I played a lot in the Super Bowl. Yes.
What is that? I've been to a Super Bowl. 1985 with the Patriots. Mm-hmm. We got, at the time, we set a record for NFL games, being beat the worst by the most points by the Bears. It was very embarrassing.
A great team, though.
But we didn't win. We didn't win. What's it like to win a Super Bowl? I mean, we know that here in Philly. We did it a few years back. But what's it like to win a Super Bowl? I don't know. I've been there, but I never won that. What does that do for you after the Super Bowl? What's it like for a player after the Super Bowl?
It was actually my 11th year in the league, and at that point, like I said, I've been bouncing around, so I was a backup. But I could say, after we won that Super Bowl, that I was the best 6 man coming off the bench as an offensive, lineman in the world.
Okay.
Not in the country, in the world. You know what I'm saying? I got a Super Bowl ring from it, But I mean, it was an unbelievable experience. And I can remember walking down, and walking into the stadium, and just before we were about to take the field and play the game. And I'm walking down next to my kicker. My kicker's named Jeff Reed. And he looked at me. I don't know why he called me Paz. He said, "Hey, Paz." Like, what's up, man? He said, when I kick this ball, imagine all these lights and stuff, they're going to go off when I kick this ball. I'm like, man, that's when it really hit me that, man, I'm about to go play in the game. And I happen to look out, and I look in the stands and look everywhere. I see the Rolling Stones over here, Kid Rock over here.
Wow.
I saw, Snoop Dogg over there with, I know this is taboo now, but with Puffy, you know what I'm saying? His name was Puffy then, but yeah, all these people, that he's a Pittsburgh fan.
We're going to cut that. We're going to cut that out. Engineer, you cut Puffy out. No, but you know what?
He wasn't a Diddy, he was Puffy then.
But you know what? Let me say this to everyone. Be careful about criticizing, about laughing at people, about pointing the finger. Though you may not agree with it, though it may be true, it may not be true. You got to be careful because any one of us at any time in our lives can be faced with challenging circumstances, situations that we might need people to either believe us or to support us or to stand by us.
Absolutely.
So we can get through it. So whatever it is he's dealing with, whatever it is, it's not, first of all, none of my business.
Absolutely.
Yeah. They have a rule that you're supposed to take 6 months to mind your own business and 6 months to leave other people's business alone.
Yep.
Because if you're looking at yourself and examining yourself, you can find enough wrong with yourself that needs to be fixed that it will take you all day, every day to work on. All right?
I live in a glass house. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
And we have a one-person audience anyway, and that's God.
Yep.
Amen. So I don't want to start preaching. But listen, did you know because you're currently an NFL football analyst, you do some college as well.
Yep.
Did you know that that's what you were going to be doing when you retired? I know you went back to school when you retired, and you got your degree in healthcare administration.
Yep.
Is that what you were trying to pursue, and how did you get into being a football analyst?
Actually, it was one of those things where I was actually working for my wife at her nursing school.
How was that? Wait a minute, let's stay right there. Wait a minute, you got 5 kids.
Yeah.
Is that how the 5 kids got here?
No, the 5 kids. Well, if I was working there then, we wouldn't have had 5 kids. I'm telling you that. Talking about hostile work environment. You know what I'm saying? I'm the boss at home. But when she's a nurse, she got 2 MBAs, she's got a doctorate degree in nursing. So when I'm at the job, she's the boss.
Right.
So it's either shut up while I'm there, or go somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? So I asked Baldy to help me out. I went up to NFL Films, applied for a job, and I interned for a whole year. I interned, serving guys coffee and everything else. Jaws and Baldy and all those guys. Going in and doing my research. Trying to be the best professional I could be in that world. I wasn't even thinking about being on TV.
Right.
I was behind the camera. I was a producer. I learned everything about producers. I could do everything from write a script, produce the script, do the research for it, turn around, and now I can be on air for the script. But then I could take that and then edit it and everything else. So I was doing all that stuff. So that's how I got into it for real. And then Jaws told me, hey, why don't you come do my radio show one day? So I did radio, and a couple people heard me, and it got to NBC, and it got to other radio stations, and from there it just picked up after that.
Talk to not just young people, but talk to the people about paying your dues, because that's what you did.
Absolutely.
You didn't come out of the NFL thinking that you were going to start off in a career where you finished in the NFL, which was at the top. You had to pay your dues.
Absolutely.
And you had to pay your dues over time. Talk to people about that, what it took for you to humble yourself to do that in a consistent manner, and how the doors begin to open for you after that.
Well, that's what I did. I was behind the scenes, and I literally interned. So I mean, I wasn't getting paid. I was getting paid pennies. Here I am in that room, and I'm going to get Chick-fil-A runs for Sterling Sharp and Brian Baldinger. I'm doing that. And here I got a Super Bowl ring. Sterling don't have a Super Bowl ring. Baldinger don't have a Super Bowl ring, but I got a Super Bowl ring. I played 12 years, but I'm going to get them coffee and everything. Since I wasn't a quarterback, I wasn't a big name, I had to do it, with the muscle. I had to go behind the scenes and just learn and just make sure that I was, good enough to be in that environment. It's not like, things were handed to me. I had to go out there and do it. And it has a lot to do with you,
Me?
A lot to do with you.
I have nothing to do with it.
People don't understand, at that point in my life, it was like my 2nd year in the league, and football was easy to me, but I wasn't taking care of business the way I needed to take care of business. And you told me that, just like I was telling, he's one of the best dressed guys in the NFL, period. I played with a lot of guys. He used to tell me, he used to get suits made. He gets 16 suits made.
Okay. I gotta get the camera. No.
But he gets 16 suits made every year.
One for every game?
One for every game. No, my fault. He would get 2 suits made for every game, because he had one he'd wear to the stadium and one he'd wear back. And after the year's over with, he would donate those suits. But he really showed me that you got to be a professional, not just on the football field when you're out there playing or when you're practicing, but off the football field, you got to make sure you cross your T's, dot your I's. And that's what he showed me, to be more professional. Because it'd be real easy, going out and kicking it, what I'm saying? I mean, the world was at our feet at that time. We could do no wrong, especially being here in Philadelphia. But as time went on, I had to learn how to be a professional, how to do things the right way. And I take my hat off to you. That's why you will always have a friend in me. Always, always.
Y'all heard it right here at the Fryar place. I told you these conversations are fire. Listen, what was in that period of time? Because we play ball. Fortunately, you played for 12 years.
Yep.
I played for 17 years in the NFL. Obviously, we played 4 years in college, and before that, 4 years in high school. So we've been doing this for a long time, for an extended period of time, and then all of a sudden it's gone, it stops, it's done. And now we have to figure out something else to do. Even if you play 17 years, when I finished playing, I was 37 years old, still somewhat of a young man, and I still have a lot of life in front of me.
Right.
What were your biggest challenges, or what was your biggest challenge in that transition?
redefining myself, because at that point I had always been, we're talking about since my freshman year of high school, I've always been a football player, I was always defined as an athlete, and I had to become a GDI again, That's a gosh darn individual.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what it stands for.
I had to come back
you had to explain it to the people. I don't know if they understood what it was. Gosh darn individual, GDI.
So I had to come back to earth. I was walking on cloud nine. I'm going anywhere I wanted to go, and everybody would just lay everything out for us as an NFL football player. Well, I had to redefine myself. I was no longer that guy. So I had to see, all right, what am I going to do with my life? What am I going to do? I mean, I'd already been into healthcare. I went back to school, got me an MBA in healthcare administration finance, but like I said, couldn't work for my wife, so I had to go, see what I was going to do. So my first year out, I sold synthetic turf for a year. That didn't work, I mean, I sold the Jets their stadium and the Giants their stadium, their turf. That's why it's so bad now, right?
You did a good job. Right. You did a good job.
And then, I then turned around, like I said, and opened up a restaurant. I had a restaurant for 3 years, and I figured out, you can't really make it without selling liquor, So I couldn't get a liquor license; it cost too much. So I said, what am I going to do? So that's when I started going and doing my thing, as far as being in media and becoming a producer, and then that led to me being talent right now. So
it's almost, when we're playing in the NFL, we're not normal people, so to speak, because the NFL is a highly touted entity with highly touted individuals that are participating in it. So we're not normal, but then when we finish playing, unless you're like a Jason Kelsey who walks into a $20 million job,
exactly,
you become normal. You become normal, and for a lot of the former players, it's tough to deal with. It's tough to try to handle, try to figure out what it is we're going to do. Most guys are not going to sell turf. Most guys are not going to go back to school, and most guys end up suffering because of that, and end up squandering away what it was they made while they were playing, trying to figure out how to live at that level, because we dropped from where we were to now real life. Now real life. So hats off to you, my brother, for having sometimes to take a step back to examine ourselves and figure out what it is we're going to do, and then making the necessary steps. Whether you started something and you may have not have been successful at it, but you kept on going until you found your niche.
Well, I mean, it's a disturbing stat that that I'm very aware of, that 80% of NFL football players, once they retire, 2 years after retire, they get a divorce, number one, and they also are broke, number two, after they leave the NFL. That's why the NFL stands for not for long for most of us. You know?
Right. Sometimes divorce can be good, though.
Right.
Anyway.
I don't know.
Sometimes. Sometimes it's necessary. You work with a group, because you were just there, you said today, the New Jersey Youth Alliance.
Yes.
You go to schools and you speak schools. Preston Sensuolo is the president, good friend of both of ours.
Great guy.
And you go and you speak to the high school kids, man. Talk about that, and what is your message to them, and how easy is it, or how hard is it for you to connect with them?
You know what? It's not hard, because you got to draw them in from the beginning. And I basically give them a message that whatever you do it to the best of your ability. Me talking or me doing what I'm doing right now, I'm doing it to the best of my ability. Whether it being, father, whatever, school, I'm always going to do it to the best of my ability. And I let these kids know that I'm kind of feeling sorry for them. They're like, what you feeling sorry for us for? I said, I didn't have to grow up how you grew up.
Right.
I mean, the day with social media, I try to explain to them, after you press send, it's privileged to 8 billion people in the world. 8 billion, you can't pull it back. And all these kids are getting judged by what they're posting now.
Right.
So I tell them, look, you can't post all that stuff now, because it's a direct reflection of who you want to be, how you want to represent yourself, your family. You want to go to a university, they look at your social media and they see all this crazy stuff, this cryptic stuff. They're like, yo, how am I supposed to let you in our university? Or how am I supposed to hire you when this kind of conduct, you're posting this stuff?
Right.
So I try to let them understand that 5 minutes, take 5-10 minutes before you post something. think about it and see, will this be a direct reflection of you that you want people in the future to see?
Right.
So that, and just basically, whatever you do, doing it to the best of your ability. To try to let them know you can accomplish anything. I put my pants just like they put their pants and shirts on. It's just how you do it, how you go about doing it. Like the professionalism, like I said, you taught me, and just, going forward and putting your best foot forward.
Appreciate you, man. Listen, we got some bills to pay. Y'all got bills?
All day.
Anybody here got bills? Well, we have some bills to pay at the Fryar place, so give us a couple of seconds. We're going to go to this commercial.
Are you planning a special trip or a night out? Don't bother with the hassle of driving, parking, and traffic. Just call Ed's Smooth Transport. One-way or round trips available. We will take you there, and we will also pick you up. Enjoy a night on the town with Ed's Smooth Transport. Call us 609-471-2653 or 609-314-6619. Visit our website to take advantage of our monthly specials at www.smooftransport.com. Ed's Smooth Transport, where experience meets comfort.
Because this is somewhat greatness, and this is what we do.
Here at the Fryar place, where the conversations are fire, it's going to get, you probably know that I'm going to ask you to talk about this, but yeah, you probably know I'm going to ask you to talk about this. Before we do though, good to see everybody. Listen, it's my wife's birthday 2 days ago. We're celebrating her birthday, Serena. We have
Happy
cake here.
birthday.
Everybody say happy birthday to Serena.
Happy birthday.
Okay, listen, happy birthday. Happy birthday. Hey, that's what it's all about. That's why we have a live crowd and a live guest. So everybody feels like they're a part of the show. Before we get into the last question, then we're going to talk about birds.
Okay.
All right, because I know everybody wants to get your expert opinion. They don't want to hear my expert opinion. I don't know anything about football. I played 17 years. I don't know anything about football. You have 5 kids, man.
Yes, 5 kids.
What's that like? I mean, because, I don't know how old they are now.
My oldest is 34. My youngest is 21.
Okay, so they're getting up there.
Yeah,
so they're adults now.
Yes,
You're getting old, man.
How
old are you now?
I'm 51. I'll be 52
really?
in May.
Barrett, you're 50?
Cinco de Mayo, I'll be 52 years old. Yes.
I thought I was old. You're getting old, man. Dang, yeah, you're right behind me, not that far. Talk about your kids a little bit. How are they doing, and what's life like for them now that you've been out for a while, and they've had an opportunity to grow up and start trying to fend for themselves? Do they pay their own bills yet? Or are they still in your pocketbook?
Well, put it like this: I just bought a crib.
For who?
I thought it was for me.
Oh.
They always come back. You know what I'm saying? You
Like
see
a
the horror
boomerang.
films.
Like a boomerang.
They always come back. My kids are like, no, seriously. It's so cool watching them grow up. I now have 3 grandkids. I
really?
got 8-month-old
Pop-pop.
Charlie. Yeah, I'm Pop. I got an 8-year-old. My oldest son lives in Kansas City. He has 2, 8 and 4. You know, so I'm pop-off. So I don't even worry about them. In fact, I could be in the house. I don't even need to talk to them. I walk back them like I don't even know who they are. You know what I'm saying? I just walk by them. You know. But my grandkids, I can't. You know, they spend the whole summer with me. So that's where my head is at now. And my kids, I ain't trying to talk to them. I don't even want to. Because every time they ask me for something, you know, I got.
It costs a lot of money.
Yeah, you know. So, at this point, you know, it's just all about the grandkids. Now.
I hear you. Yeah, I have 6 grandchildren myself. And,
right.
Yep, it's all about the grand. I have a 17-year-old grandson.
Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Noah's. So here's what I want you to tell the people, those who are watching virtually and those who are here with us live. You came to my church with Vi Sikahema some years ago. I believe it was 2011 is when you came. I saw a picture of it online. And you told a story. I don't know if all of you know this story. You probably don't. But he has a very unique story. And I was very surprised because I hadn't heard it before until you told that story, your testimony, you and Vi, at the church on that particular Sunday. Tell the people the story. It's going to take a minute. Y'all be quiet, pay attention. It's going to take a minute. But tell the people the story about you and Vi Sikahema and your journey to the NFL.
Yeah.
Give them the camera.
I was born, I'm born in St. Louis, you know, so things like kind of different for me growing up because I was poor, you know. I'm from St. Louis. We live in this little suburb called Kenlock, and it's exactly what it is. Everybody's kin, and everybody's locked in that joker, you know. So everybody's poor, but I didn't know I was poor because everybody around me is the same way. Right. So as I was growing up, everybody did the same things, you know. So I wanted to be the next Charles Barkley.
Really?
Yeah, I wanted to be the next Charles Barkley.
You a good basketball player?
I thought I was, but
were you or not? Did you play basketball in school?
I played basketball in school.
Did you score points?
I started and scored points.
What did you average? What was your
I
average?
only averaged like 9 points a game.
Okay, so you weren't great.
But I averaged,
somebody was telling you was great besides yourself.
Hold on, but I averaged 14 rebounds a day. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, you were the ground mound of rebound.
Charles Barrett.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So I was 6'3", 250 pounds. But, I wanted to play basketball with, there wasn't many centers at that time, 6'3", 250 pounds, you know. So I had to go what's going to pay the bills. So long story long, when I was 12 years old, my uncles used to always take me down to the stadium. And, at the time, it was the St. Louis Cardinals, and they were part of the Big East at the time. Right. So, the NFC East.
NFC East.
So, they come down there, and if they had their family members didn't come, they would give the tickets away, especially when it started getting cold. Families didn't want to sit outside. So I'm sitting out there. I hated football growing up. Hated it with a passion. Only reason I played is my mom made me play. I hated football. Oh, yeah.
Why did your mother make you play football?
Because she said, I'm going to raise you. The police are not going to raise you. So I'm going to do everything
she tried
possible.
To keep you busy, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
You're going to do this, you're going to do that. So that's why I play football. So I go down there, and all the kids run up to the players, hey, can we have a ticket? I never did. I sit back in the back like this. Well, like I said, I was poor, and my shoes were too small for me. And I had cut the top of my shoes, let my toes and my dogs out, what I'm saying? I didn't want to be all corned up and everything, so I just couldn't afford them, you know what I mean? My mom bought shoes from a grocery store.
She bought Bobos, the same kind of shoes I had when I was a kid. They called them Bobos.
Right.
They were tied together. You got them in the grocery store. Y'all, anybody know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
They were called Bobos. They were hard plastic on the bottom.
Right.
Yes.
And you could tell where they were put together because there was a seam where they put the plastic together.
Yeah.
So I had those, so all the kids were. I wouldn't run up to them. So Vi looked at me one time. Vi said, "Well, why aren't you running up?"
Where'd you see Vi?
So we'd be in the parking lot, and when they parked, all the kids will be there. But I stood back in the back. So Vi noticed me and said, "Hey, come here for a minute." So I go over to him and he said, "Hey, man, how come you never won tickets?" I said, "Well, I don't really like football." "You don't?" I said, "No." I said, I'm not. "Well, you're a big kid." He's like, "I still don't like football." I didn't like football. Football was hard. That's bottom line. Football was hard. So I was like, So long story long, he takes me inside the stadium and then opened me up to a world that I had never seen before. I see all these fans screaming for Vi. I'm like, I got to be a part of this. This is crazy. He takes me in. He only wears size 10 and a half, so he couldn't give me the shoes. So he goes to Stump Mitchell. Stump Mitchell gives me the shoes, And I can remember leaving there. I'm like, man, that's incredible. That's incredible. So then I started focusing on football. I started, hey, I gotta make this happen. You know what I'm saying? So, and that and the fact that, you know, here I'm 6'3", and I like to eat donuts. Chris, I like to eat donuts, bro. I like Big Macs, you know what I'm saying? I like to eat. So gravity took over, and I got too big to play basketball. You know what I mean?
Is that what happened to my hair? Gravity took over? I thought my hair went on a farewell tour, huh? It went on a farewell tour a long time ago. Right. Gravity took over.
So, you know, I go ahead, you know, and I start getting, you know, I always was good at it because whatever I did to the best of my ability. So I was always playing well. Like my freshman year, I only played half a year, and I was up on the varsity.
Okay.
You know, I'm playing, you know, so I go ahead and I like football until I started getting paid for it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, you know, that's when I started really liking football. But after that, you know, I kept in touch with him for a little bit, and then, you know, it kind of lost touch, but I always watched where he went.
Okay.
So it just so happened I get drafted by the Eagles. So when you get drafted, all the draft picks go to you know, to the stadiums, you know, that you know they get drafted by. So they go on Mike Mamula first, you know, he's drafted, and then it's me and Bobby
Taylor.
Yeah, me and Bobby Taylor were in the second round, so he goes up. But out of the corner of my eye, I looked over. I'm like, that's Vi, Mr. Sigema. He's like, yeah. He said, Mr. Sigema, it's me. He's like, yeah. Barrett Brooks, you know, St. Louis, you know, got drafted, Kansas State University, second round. Yeah, welcome to the city. I said, no, it's me. He's like, yeah, I know you got drafted second. I said, no, it's me. You gave me those rules. Hey, I can afford my own shoes now. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, we kept in touch, everything. And it's kind of funny, our lives, like, kind of went in the same direction because he worked for NBC. Now I work for NBC, you know. So, I mean, we kept close. And, you know, it just goes to show 6 degrees of separation.
Right.
I actually, you know, followed his footsteps going through my process, you know, as far as being in football, broadcasting, you know, and, you know, as we go on. So it's kind of a little special relationship me and him have.
Right, and he didn't he help you a little bit with the broadcasting portion and making that transition and trying.
I couldn't read the prompter. I was like, come on now. I mean, here I am. I got an MBA in healthcare administration.
Reading the prompter's not easy.
Exactly. You can read it. You can say, yes, look at the Eagle thing. You can do it like that, or you can say you gotta make it like casual conversation.
That's
so he showed me, say, man, go in the bathroom, whatever you're doing, and whether you know doing number 2, whatever, take your Bible
We're
out
gonna do without that.
and read. No, we're not. You got to and read the Bible. Thou shalt James. He said, and read it like they're saying it, and you read it and you hear yourself, and as you hear yourself, you'll start getting a rhythm on how you need to sound when you're doing the prompter. So he helped me, gave me little tricks and everything. So yeah, you know, big ups to my boy Vi Sigema.
Vi's a great guy. We miss him dearly.
Oh, absolutely.
He retired and left and went to the other side of the country.
Right, he went to Utah.
We haven't seen him since.
Right.
He does answer the calls though. I do text him every now and then. He does answer the text. So, listen, before we get out of here, and we've got a few minutes left, we want to talk some Eagles. I'm sure everybody wants to hear Eagles. What? No. What the problem is? What the problem is? That's the way we say it. What the problem is? Well, let's go back. In your opinion, what caused or what was the reason for the big slide last year at the end of the season? And do you feel as though, because going into the season in 2023, after all the transactions that took place during the offseason, I felt pretty good about the Eagles.
Absolutely,
going
I
into
did
the
also.
season. I had picked them to go to the Super Bowl. I thought it would be a rematch with the Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yep.
I said that at the beginning of the season, before the season started. I felt good about where the Eagles were, what they had done in terms of free agency, what they had done in terms of the draft. But obviously, I drank the Kool-Aid and got fooled.
Yep.
Because that didn't happen. So, in your opinion, what was the cause or causes of the slide, and how do you feel about where the team is right now, having given the fact of what we've done in free agency thus far and what we're going to do possibly in the draft? And I'm going to ask you about some of the draft picks because I know you follow college.
Coordinators. You know, Nick is the type of coach that he needs great coordinators because he's going to be a CEO type of coach. So you have to rely on your coordinators to relay your message to your players.
Okay.
And I felt as though the coordinators were too young and didn't understand how to get those guys going. You know what I mean? So in the NFL, if you're thinking about a play or thinking about what you have to do, you're already 2 or 3 steps behind.
Yep.
Like if I had to think about something and I'm trying to block Hollis, if I'm thinking I got to take my left step and I got to get Hollis, I'm 8 feet in the backfield right now, tackling the running back with my body, and I'm playing offense. So you can't do that. And I felt as though I'm watching film and you could see nobody knew what the heck they were doing. I see 3 guys in one gap. I mean, I'm turning around, how do you have 3 guys in one gap? You only got 11 guys out there. So that's why they were running free. I think the difference between last year and this year, we got reliable and tested coordinators.
Okay.
Offensive side of the ball, Moore has taken a team in Dallas and made that offense click and really made.
But that's a different offense as well. It's more of a prolific offense, ball down the field. We like to do the RPOs, which makes Jalen Hurts more effective. As a threat to run the ball, and that opens it up for the pass. So there's got to be a mixture of both. He's got to be able to come in here and do both. I can't see Kellen Moore coming in and installing an offense that's the same type of offense they ran when he was in Dallas. That's a prolific type offense where there are no RPOs included.
They're going to have to do that because that's what Jalen Hurts, the best player he can be.
Right.
That him having the ball in his hands and they having that threat of the run will make those defenses honest. You can't run. They ran cover 2, which 2 high safeties, and that's why he didn't have the big plays. If you have 2 safeties up, they can branch out and they can cover both sides, so no big plays. The year before we went to Super Bowl, they majored in big plays because they only had 1 high safety, and you couldn't double those guys then because you had to stop the run by Miles Sanders. Now we got Saquon Barkley, maybe arguably the first or second best back in the league right now, So they took what they saw the 49ers did and now put it here. And plus they can put a little motion with it too. So can you imagine Smitty, Smitty going in motion. And when he goes in motion, it sets up matchups. So now if they got, him going in motion and they bring a safety down to cover him, you can't even cover him with a cornerback, let alone a safety.
No. And that's what it is, a chess match.
He's eating all day. Yep.
All day.
And then on the defensive side of the ball, we're not even gonna talk about the defense. Vic Fangio is a teacher. He's a teacher. He teaches you how to play the game. So I already feel we have one leg up because at least they'll know what to do. Doesn't matter what the players you have. You can have the best players in the world, but if they don't know what to do, it's all for naught. Well, at least Vic will have these guys in a position where they'll be able to play and they'll be able to play the defense that he designed, that he came up with. So I'm very confident that this team will be 100 times better than they were last year simply because they'll know what the heck they're doing on the field.
And in my opinion, I don't think the defense has to be a top 5 defense. No. As long as the offense gets going, they only need to be somewhere in the top 12 defensively to get to the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl as long as the offense is rolling. I think you're one of the people that can identify or was in the room with me. I use an example that took place my 3rd year, which was your last year, which was Ray Rhodes' last year here with the Eagles, that took place this year when the Eagles changed defensive coordinators. When they changed defensive coordinators in the third or second third part of the season, after two-thirds of the season was over, they changed defensive coordinators. Desai was out, and then Patricia came in. That was similar to what happened to us. I don't know if you remember when we had Dana Bible, my 3rd year here. Dana Bible was our offensive coordinator. John Gruden had left and gone to become the head coach at the Raiders. And we brought a guy in by the name of Dana Bible. Now, when I heard about that, I thought it was a good thing because his last name was Bible.
Right.
So, no, seriously, I thought it was a good thing. I'm like, okay, Bible, we got to be on track with this. This got to be good. So he comes in and we go through training camp and he installs all the plays. Then we start going into the season, and when the season started, now those of you that don't know this, what you do in training camp sets the foundation for your season. The installation of plays during training camp sets the foundation. You just feather off from that.
Yep.
You create different branches off of that foundation. Well, when the season started, he gave us a whole new playbook that we had never practiced before.
Right.
And so we started going downhill right from the beginning. I think the first pass that Bobby Hoying threw to me got intercepted for a touchdown.
Right.
It was terrible. We were horrible. So about 2/3 of the way through the season, I come into the meeting. I think you were in the meeting too. We come into the offensive room on a Wednesday. We had Monday, we watched the film, Tuesday off. We come in on Wednesday and we have offensive installation. And the whole offense is in there. And Dana Bible's not up doing the installation, which he normally did. Right. It was Musgrave.
Bill Musgrave.
Bill Musgrave was doing the installation.
Well, hold on. Let me start this. Bill Musgrave.
You were there.
Yeah, right. Bill Musgrave was on a roster that year. He was on a roster as a quarterback, got cut and came to us.
As an assistant to the assistant.
Yes.
So Musgrave's up, and we're sitting in the meeting, and Musgrave's up doing the installation, and he's stuttering, and he's stammering, and he can't get the plays, he can't articulate the plays. He stops right in the middle of it, and he says, listen, guys, you have to forgive me. I'm sorry. I've never done this before.
Right. He never coached before because he was a player the year before.
In my mind, I'm like, we just went from bad to worse. And I kind of equate that with what happened with the Eagles defensively this year. You can't make that kind of change in the middle of the season, but that's why guys are running into one another. That's why receivers are coming open, wide open, and teams are scoring points left and right like it was just candy. So hopefully we won't have that this year. Hopefully they've gotten it together, and you got Kellen Moore, you got Vic Fangio, and you got Sirianni, who's going to stay in his place and be the CEO and manage everybody, and we'll have a good outcome this year. Has this team done enough, and will they do enough? What should they pursue? What positions should they pursue? What are they, 22 in the first round, and they got a couple second-round picks? What positions should they pursue to sew up some of these holes that they still have, particularly defensively?
Defensively, everybody's saying that they're going to go with an offensive lineman.
That's what they're saying.
Yeah,
and they probably will.
And should they? I don't think so. I think they need to go in the direction of defense, like you said. I would still go cornerback, even though they have Rodgers. They've got, they just put CJ They signed Avonte Maddox back. They have Eli Ricks. I mean, he's shown to be a good player. Yep.
Under coaching, he's going to be good.
Kaylee Ringo, we forget he ran a 4.3.
He's going to be good too with some coaching. I think
he's going to start in front of Bradbury. And
somebody needs to start in front of Bradbury. I could beat Bradbury right now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you lose it that quick. I mean, he went from being.
Well, he was put in a bad position. He's a zone guy. Cover two guy. That's what he did with the Giants. That's what he did pretty much that year in 2022.
Exactly.
And that's why he was successful, because that's the type of defensive that he needs to play in. That man-to-man, they put him inside, and he's got both ways. The receiver can go both sides. He can't do that.
You got to know, you got to know what you do. So they just put him in a bad position. But Kaylee Ringo showed me a lot. He came up. He's fielding a run. He could run with those receivers. Double moves and stuff. So. I want them to go DB, but I doubt if they go DB.
When's the last time they drafted a defensive back in the first round?
Lito Shepherd was the last time.
When was that? What year was that?
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, a long time ago. Thank you. I was a long time ago.
What, 2004,
20 years ago.
I have a quick question for Barrett. What do you think of Gatton?
Tyler Gatton is one of those guys, for Oklahoma. Big size, great hands. He moves well in space, can run block. He's a legitimate first-round choice. If we drafted him, he would not start in front of either one of our tackles. But as soon as one of those tackles leaves, he could step right in and be an all-world tackle right now. He's 6'8", 340 pounds, strong, nimble feet. I think he'd be all right in anybody's system.
And that's what the Eagles do. They draft linemen not for them to come in and start, but for them to develop and start maybe 3 or 4 years down the road.
Look at the film.
We can't hear you on our mics, Hollis. Stop talking. We're going to get a third mic. We are going to get a third mic so you can come up and talk on the mic. We will. I know.
I just had questions for him about Tyler Gatton because I felt like.
Well, ask him when the show's over.
We got a question from the audience.
We have a question. We have a question from someone who's watching. What's the question there, engineer?
The question is, how will the Eagles do with the new changes in the league?
How will the Eagles do? You're the expert, not me. I just do a show. How will the Eagles do with new changes in the league?
Actually,
what is up with this? You can't tackle people pulling them down from the hip. What's up with that? Are we going to start playing touch football?
Yeah, they're going to give the offensive players flags that the defensive players have to go to. I mean, they're going to have to do that.
I have Derrick Henry running at me. I'm 200 pounds.
Right.
He's 250 pounds. He's running at me. What, I'm supposed to try to hit him in his upper body to bring him down? No, I got to go for his legs, wrap myself around him, and try to pull him down.
Right.
Now that's illegal.
That's illegal. Then, I do say this. This new kickoff stuff, it's actually what we did to practice the kickoff that's the same drill we did to practice kickoff, you know. So, but I will say that it should have, you know,
Some
break a
kickoff
lot
returns,
more.
yes.
Yeah,
Some
it should
kickoff
break
returns,
a couple because you're asking some people to back up and then block within 10 yards. One step cut, somebody not in their gap, it could go to the house.
Right,
So
right.
it might open that up a little bit.
I think that's what they want, though.
That's exactly
more
what they
scoring.
want.
Yeah,
they want
more
more scoring with defense being handcuffed again. You can't touch the wide receivers or anything else. And then, you know, with them not being able to tackle that way, it's just tough on a defensive player. I don't see how they do it, man. That's to me, it's handcuffing them. You know, I want good old football like when we played.
Right.
You know,
right.
You know, you're just out there man against man. But you know, things are different these days.
Before we go, question. Your prediction for the Eagles this year.
Okay.
What is your prediction? They're going to make the playoffs. They're going to make deep into the playoffs. I know they have a window that they're trying to take advantage of, which is a Super Bowl window, and pretty soon it will close because, you know, they won't be able to afford. I mean, look at what's happening with Buffalo right now. They have to get rid of guys because of salary cap, so on and so forth.
When you pay your quarterback,
you got to pay that credit card bill at some point.
Right.
You got to pay it at some point. So that's what's going to happen to the Eagles here in another couple of years. What's your prediction for them this year?
They're gonna be a double-digit win team. I'm looking around 10 or 11 wins. They're gonna make it to the playoffs. They're gonna win the NFC East this year, and I think that they'll be very competitive. But I mean, you can't just deny, you know, what other people in the division are doing. You know, I see everybody saying, you know, Dallas, they haven't done anything. Well, they just don't know how to do it during the season.
Right.
You know, I mean, they know how to play well during the season, just not in the playoffs.
Right.
But they were kind of complete team. They're not doing anything right because they're strapped because of their quarterback situation.
Right.
So we're in the same predicament right now, but we have a better GM than they do, you know. So I really think that they're going to be good enough that they're going to, you know, this is a Super Bowl window for them. So the sky's the limit for them. You know, all you got to do is get there. They turned up, and with these veteran coaches we have at the coordinator positions, I think we can compete and take it to that next level. I think we can definitely sniff at the Super Bowl this year.
Sniff?
We can sniff the Super Bowl.
Y'all, we're going to sniff at the Super Bowl.
Yep.
We take it. Everybody, use your sniffers to go to the Super Bowl. We're going to sniff the Super Bowl this year.
Get there. All you got to do is get there.
That's all you got to do is get there. You're right. All you got to do is get there. Anything can happen.
Yep.
Anything can happen. Listen, everybody put your hands together for Barrett Brooks. Listen, you see these cans in front of me? Right now, we have Zoa is in the house. Everybody see that? My girl, Julie, how do you say your last name again? Wyatt. Julie Wyatt. I worked with Julie back in 2002. 2002. CNNSI. She worked with me down in Atlanta, and we reconnected at the Super Bowl, and they're in town for WrestleMania. They stopped by with these energy drinks called Zoa. Owned by.
Can you smell?
Owned by The Rock. Yeah, Dwayne Johnson. They got a big bus outside. We did some filming there. This is a great energy drink. Electrolytes. Little caffeine, natural caffeine, I guess it is. It's natural caffeine, right? Is that correct? Am I saying it right?
Yep.
Okay, I didn't put a commercial together. I'm just trying to get y'all. But you got to get this. They brought a bunch here. We're going to hand them out to everybody who is here. They got hats here. They got bags here for those of you who are here. Stuff to hand out. But y'all check it out. Zoa.
Grape is pretty good. I like grape.
You
Grape
drank
is
3
pretty
already.
good.
That's why. Listen, with this drink, it's an energy drink. You can jump off a mountain and land on your feet.
You lost me.
You guys are going to use that. You're going to use that. That's good stuff. Listen, thank everybody for being here live with us, our live audience. Come on, give yourselves a hand clap of appreciation. We do this here at the Code, 939 North Delaware Avenue, every first Friday of every month. Live here with a live guest, Barrett Brooks, live audience, that's all of you. Right here at the Fryar place where the conversations are fire. We thank everybody for coming and supporting today. We'll be back next month. Listen, look for the advertisements. I'm waiting for confirmation, but I did get a hint that we may.
Don't schedule me, sucker.
No, I'm not scheduling you, sucker. Not next month. You know why? Because it's a very good chance that we could have Mayor Parker on with us next month. Very good chance. Yeah. It's gonna be on and popping there. Yeah, she is all that. Got a chance to talk to her last night, just waiting for confirmation. But anyway, look for the advertisement. We'll see who's gonna be on next month, the first week, first Friday of the month here at the Code. Good seeing everybody. We'll see you next month. Same time, same place, same purpose, Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. Put your hands together for Barrett Brooks again, our guest. We'll see you next time here at the Fireplace, where the conversations are fire.
Yeah.
We're out.
You're right.
I don't see it. Outro.